The thing I enjoy most is the freedom to travel, but with everything you need with you all the time. It's your home on wheels. I can turn up to a spot and explore that, but I'm immediately back to my home. I don't need to get in the car and travel anywhere. The home comes with me everywhere I go. So it's my safe space because it's everything I need. It's got my whole life in it. Hi, my name is Simone. I'm a content creator. I make things around van life, and I've owned this van for 3 years and I've lived in it for about a year. This is a Mercedes Sprinter van. It's a long wheelbase and she's from 2017, so she's getting on, and her name is Betty. The van is an ex-Warburton's bread van, so it is just as bright as the Warburton's logo, and it still has the word Warburton's on the side and on the front, which I love. So when I first got it, it was a completely empty shell, and then I've done everything myself. So all of the furniture design, everything that's in here, I've done with my own hands. It took me 6 months. I thought it was going to take me 2 months, and I was very mistaken. It was maybe the toughest thing that I have done, but definitely the most rewarding. The cab area for me is a really important space that I wanted to make sure was fluid with the rest of the van. I could have absolutely built a wall here which would segregate the space from the driving area to the rest of the van. It would mean I'd have to either like scurry through a small hole or a door or walk outside the doors, but I wanted to make sure that if I pulled over I could easily go into the space and just that it flowed. So I've also incorporated swivel seats, so those seats can adapt to also the living area. It's really important for me in a van. It's such a small space, so if you can adapt it as much as possible, then that works in your favour, and that also means I've built storage above the cab area because every tiny space matters. It's a space that I really enjoy. I wanted to make sure I had a sink so I could do washing up, get fresh water, but I didn't want to crowd the worktop, so I don't have a hob on there for cooking. I have a portable hob, which I really enjoy because I can cook outside, I can cook inside, and it allows much more counter space for all other things. I've also got a fridge, so I always have fresh food, and then I have loads of storage for all of my food items, everything I would need, and it often means I can cook with a fabulous view of wherever I've pulled up. My lounge area mainly consists of a long bench seat. We don't have a lot of space to work with in this van, so I have the swivel seats, which means they can turn around. I can make it into a bigger living area if I did have any friends over, but that bench seat is also really multi-purpose. I can add a table so I can eat from there. I can work from there. And it also doubles as a toilet and some extra storage. So hidden in there is my toilet, which might not sound the most appealing to other people, but you have to work with every space that you have inside of a van, and no one will ever know because it really is just hidden under that bench. This is the sleeping area. It is maybe one of my favourite places to be. It's multi-use because I don't just use it to sleep. I do like throwing the doors open and laying out in the back here, especially if there's a really good view. The bed is huge, but that was purposeful because I have a dog and she's a princess. She sleeps on the bed with me and she takes up a lot of room, and often my partner comes to join, so I wanted to make sure that the bed was big enough for 3 of us and it wasn't cramped. It's also a fixed bed. In vans you could get lots of different configurations. I really wanted it to be fixed so that I didn't have to make the bed every day really. I didn't want to pack it away. I like laying out on here. The garage is the section underneath my bed. Sometimes people are like, the garage, what are you talking about? It's the section under my bed. It is the place where I keep all of the dirty things that I don't want to keep inside of the van, so like wellies, dog towels. It also is where I keep my van shower, so that's hidden underneath and I can bring it out the back. I can keep loads of stuff under there. It's why I love a fixed bed, because there is so much room for storage. I sometimes have my bike in there, I have a portable barbecue, so where my electric system is housed. Any extra items that I don't need every day get shoved underneath there, and as this is my home, there's a lot of things under there. I could have absolutely have built an indoor shower in the van, and that originally was the plan, but honestly after 6 months of the build I I ran out of time in the sense that I was just ready to live in the van, and building a whole shower would have been a whole other process. So I decided just to have a portable one out the back, which I'm really glad about, and it's worked really well for me. It is fantastic for when I need to wash the dog in a small space. A muddy dog does not work, so it's really excellent just to wash her off. And then I get to shower outside with an excellent view, and the shower just hooks up onto the side of the van. I could shut the door, I could have it around the back. It does make for no privacy. People do stare if I have a shower outside. I wear a swimming costume and I deal with it. I could absolutely buy a curtain, and I've just chosen not to do that. It gets more difficult in the winter, but I can shower at campsites, gyms you can shower at. It's really cheap just to shower in there. So there's always options, and I much prefer having the extra space. On my roof, I have two 175-watt solar panels. They're very huge. I get most of my power from the sun, if not all of it in the summer. I have a 12-volt system, which means that I can power a fridge, the water pump, my lights. I can charge all of my basic devices, and all of that comes from the sun that charges my batteries that I have in the back and is connected to my electrical system. I do have a hookup, so if I was to be at a campsite, I could get larger power. I could have 240 volts, which means I could power something like a hair dryer or a coffee machine, something more hefty. But I don't use those on the regular, and a 12-volt system works for me. I have everything I need. All of my devices are charged, and I have all of the electricity that I could think of, and that means I get free electricity bills all summer. I don't have to pay for it, which is really magical. My favourite items, definitely the van swing. It's another extension of a living area, so if it is a really nice sunny day, I can open the side door and I prop up the swing, and I really like reading in this spot with the sun on my face, or eating some lunch there. It's a great place, and I think if you're an adult, why not incorporate a bit of fun with the swing in your home? I think it's excellent. The second thing I really love is my projector. So I don't have a TV, but I do have a projector which has a very large projector screen and then a little projector that I put here, and I watch movies from my bed, which is amazing. It is laid out and designed exactly how I want it to be because I built it. So every detail, from the colours to the handles on the cupboards, is exactly how I envisioned them to be. I've rented for so much of my life, so to suddenly have a van that's all completely designed how I want it to be, it is an amazing feeling. And I think in the beginning of van life, I found it quite a scary place to be to begin with, to solo travel by myself. But now I've been doing it a long time. It's probably one of the spaces that I feel most comfortable, grounded, and myself in. It's a space that I've created, does everything that I need it to do, and it's a place that I probably feel the most relaxed in.
Can you tell us something surprising about yourself?
Something surprising about myself is that before I built this van, I had never used a power tool at all. I don't know where the blind confidence came that I could build something like this. It was a case of researching, seeing other people do it, and thinking, yeah, I could absolutely do that myself. And I just spent a long time teaching myself how to use power tools and how to build furniture and how all of that works. But honestly, before then, I'd not even put a hole in a wall for a picture frame. So I don't know how it happened that I came to build this van, but one day I really did just wake up and go, I think I can teach myself that.